Yeah, it's your boy, D. Harv. You are in tune to the next episode of Straight Up On Game. Y'all check us out. We got some special guests coming through from Fresno State University. And now it's time to introduce my host, Dwayne Wright, the running back guru.
What's going on, y'all? What's going on? But before we get started, we are going to introduce our other co-host, our main man, our homeboy, our boy, Bryan Welch. Welcome, Bryan. What's up, brother?
Hey, nothing much, my friends. Nothing much. I mean, hey, great show tonight and a busy week in Fresno.
Oh, my God. What a busy week as the viewers tune in to another fun Straight Up On Game show. This is episode 7.
Wow.
Woo! 7 straight weeks, fellas. We've been rolling. We've been having multiple guests from everywhere, JUCOs, high schools, big-time players in JUCO, high school, NFL, you name it. I mean, even ESPN can't even get some of the guys we get because we're exclusive. But, hey, man, how was y'all Thanksgiving, man?
Well, mine was all right. I mean, I'm alive, so it's good. I didn't get my chitlins and Southern hospitality meal, but I had some turkey and ham and mac and cheese, and so it was all right. But truthfully, your mama cooking. It ain't her cooking. That girl right there.
Oh, she be throwing down, man. Bryan, what's up, man?
Hey, nothing much.
What's up?
I mean, my Thanksgiving was pretty good. You know what? Had the turkey. You know what? We had mac and cheese this year. That was really good. I'm not going to lie. Plus the mashed potatoes and gravy. And you know what? I saved a little bit for dessert. I had a big piece of apple pie. So you know what? I was stuffed till Monday, it seems like. But it was great Thanksgiving. And hey, you know what? Hey, 11 more days before we get out for winter break. I'm not counting down the days. I'm not counting down the days at all.
You know what? I'm counting down the days, man, because no matter what, I still got to either train or, you know, be at the school sites and doing something. But you know what, man? You said it was a busy week at Fresno State. We're going to talk about that in a couple of minutes as our viewers roll in. Dante Marsh will be on shortly. Mike Stovall will be on shortly. My boy, main man, Joey Rigo will be on shortly. We're going to talk some Bulldog football. We're going to talk – this is actually the statement of the alumni for the Dogs. We're going to have some other Dogs chiming in. Look, viewers, we have the comments, right? You can leave live comments. We'll pop your comments on the screen. But you know what? It's going to be all love. We're going to all share, you know, where we're coming from in this whole thing as the viewers roll in. Thank you, guys. We appreciate it. Hey, you got time right now to subscribe to our show. You know what I mean? You got time, plenty of time. I want to talk about how my Thanksgiving was real quick before we get down to the gritty. Look, man, I played some PlayStation. You know, I chilled, played a little college football. I was beat down on a couple of these young cats, you know what I mean, on my P5, man, playing with Colorado, you know, trying to do a little something with Travis Hunter. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Speaking of Travis Hunter, man, we're going to go back to this whole Heisman talk real quick before we bring Dante on. Let's talk about just 2 minutes of it, man, and then we'll bring Dante on, and then he can chime in. Travis Hunter, our Boise State. I'm sorry, I'm a Bulldog at heart. I just have to say Boise State. What? I mean, what do y'all think, man?
Nothing has changed my mind. Well, yes, it has. At first, I was Travis Hunter until Boise State boy Jetty. Man, that
He's a beast.
He ain't no boy. That ain't no boy. That's a full-grown country boy. Man, I mean, excuse me, but that he ain't playing at all. Yeah, he dead serious.
So, Bryan, I know you always have some great stats, some statistics, and things of that nature. What about you? How do you feel about the whole Heisman race right now?
You know what? If they should just give because the Mountain West Conference Championship is tomorrow in Boise, as Boise State's taking on UNLV. The Heisman committee should just be in Boise to hand the Heisman Trophy to Ashton Jeanty. If Ashton Jeanty does not hoist the Heisman in New York in 2 weeks' time, then what are we doing? I mean, seriously. I mean, the yards he's gotten this season. Plus, you know what? He's battling for a conference championship. I know that's kind of a little bit of a lame point there, but a lot of people were talking about that this week. But also, he just declared for the NFL draft. So you know what? They just broke that news like an hour ago. You know what? Hey, he's going to be a good player, and right now, yeah, he can probably win that Heisman because by how dangerous he's been able to run the football. But also, I mean, he just stands in the backfield and just gives the defense a stare at folks, and he just runs through them. I mean, you have to give the Heisman Trophy to Ashton Jeanty, hands down.
You know, it comes a time when you get those players that come once in every 15, 20 years. Like you said, we were talking about this on our show, Harv, Bryan Welch. We had some other guests, and we were saying that there would never be a Travis Hunter, there would never be a Jeanty. There were before they even came along. It's just the game is different. You know what I mean? The game is different. I do feel there were receivers that play and DBs that play both ways. I always mention Charles Woodson. And before we even talk about Charles Woodson, we're going to bring in Dante Marsh right now because, you know, Dante is a DB guru. So, Dante, what's up, bro?
I think he's muted.
I think he always start off with mute, man. Every time. There we go. He here.
What's going on? How y'all doing?
Doing pretty good.
Good.
In regards to the conversation you were just having, I was a running back in high school, but my second position was DB, and I ended up getting my scholarship at DB. I trained with C. Wood during his first stint with the Raiders. Shout out to Tom Willis, the Pepper Sport. Dude was phenomenal. The stuff he was doing at Michigan on Saturday on ABC, week in and week out, unmatched. And the funny thing about it is he had packages for offense. And when he got on the field on offense, everybody in the world knew he was getting the ball, and he still scored. Champ Bailey also had a goo gob of snaps, both defensively and offensively at Georgia. So it's not like I don't want to take anything away from Travis Hunter. I think he is phenomenal. I think he's going to be a top dog at DB. I just don't think you can top what Ashton Jeanty doing, because without him, I don't think Boise is making no noise.
You're right.
Yeah. And you defensive guy, you put 8-9 in the box. They know he getting the ball, and he's still
right.
Easy. So both players are phenomenal players. They're gonna make themselves a lot of money at the next level. They're already making some money, but
true that.
Those guys gonna be primetime players in the league. So either way you go, you can't miss. But I just don't see Jeanty not getting that trophy.
I'll say this. Go ahead.
The flip side would be the popularity and the hype that Colorado.
There it is.
That's because you got to remember, just like real quick, I posted a post on social media about Deion talking about how much Jerry Rice was a problem. So I had these conversations with my JUCO players and some of the young athletes I train. We always have these debates, Michael Jordan, LeBron. It's not even close. Be quiet, young people. You weren't didn't see. You don't even have a clue. So the thing of it is, I try to explain to them. They seen a cut up of Jerry Rice running routes. It's a film out there, shows practice reps, one-on-ones. These young dudes, oh man, he was going against bums. He'll get strapped today. First of all, Deion Sanders, Rod Woodson, Darrell Green, Aeneas Williams, those are all Hall of Famers. I don't have to keep going down the list. He was giving everybody work. There's a reason he has 204 touchdowns, and the next closest guys is Moss and T.O. So just because you're bigger, faster, stronger does not make you better. And that's the thing with the young people. They think everything that they see, the music, knock it off.
I love it. I love it.
Athletes, because here's the thing, old school work ethic, they don't have a clue. When you're talking about, I was told your will has to be greater than your skill. And you talk about guys like Jerry Rice, man, Prime said it. He was a problem. He kept me up at night. And I posted a video. Rice was giving Prime that work. So, I mean, guys just have to understand, man, the game has changed. Yes, there are some phenomenal athletes. I train a lot of them, coach a lot of them, but it's not close. And they was running a lot of 21 personnel.
That's
That,
right.
so think about it. Jerry put up all those numbers in a West Coast offense where they had a fullback, a tailback,
And a tight end.
It was only 2 receivers. The only teams that were just throwing the ball all over the yard was the Atlanta Falcons with Jerry Glanville, the Houston Oilers, and the Washington Redskins, and the Miami Dolphins with Marino. So there was not this shotgun, air it out 3-4 wide receiver sets. Now if Jerry played in his prime in this type of game, he would have a lot of records still because they throw the ball so much. He was doing all of that with limited touches. Because think, Deion or your best corner, you go cover Rice, that other receiver got to eat because back then a lot of quarterbacks were scared to throw at 21.
Right.
That's right.
Man, facts, all facts, man. Look, I was a Deion Sanders and I was a Jerry Rice fan. Man, I was a Kansas City Chiefs fan, Christian Okoye, all the big time back in the day, all those good players, man. Dante's right. We're talking about pure one-on-one back then. We're talking about ain't no zone, you know what I mean? It was barely cover 2. And cover 2 was something that was new that, you know, that I believe the Chicago Bears started to introduce a lot of different coverages and fronts and things like the 4-6. People don't even know where that come from. You know what I mean? So you got to know the history of the game. And I think, you know, that debate with the young folks and us, we can go on and on and on. But at the end of the day, our training regimens was different. You know, we didn't have social media to train us how to, you know, stretch our muscles or eat properly. You have to do the right things because your body will tell you when you wasn't, you know, performing. But yeah, man, Jerry Rice by far is a beast. Deion Sanders said it himself. The only receiver that can give him work is Jerry Rice, and I believe it.
Yes, sir. True facts.
Period. Bryan.
Yes, sir.
I think it's that time where we can start getting in just some 411. Man, this show is called The Statement of the Alumni. I didn't want to put Fresno State hashtag. I wanted to say Bulldogs because, you know, we have some people with mixed emotions. It was crazy yesterday, you know. And for those fans who's viewing, to all 104 of you on YouTube, all 625, 26, 27 and counting that's watching, hey, we appreciate y'all. You can comment in the comment box. We'll put your comments actually on the screen. But Bryan, tell us a little bit about our show, man. What's the show about, man? Tell us. What are we up against?
Well, I mean, the new head coach, first of all. But I mean, you go back to Saturday, Fresno State struggling against UCLA, falling 20-13 against UCLA at the Rose Bowl. I was down there for the first time ever in my life, being at the Rose Bowl, covering the game. That was a lot of fun, but it was a little bit interesting. Monday, a lot of things, the dominoes started to fall. A lot of players from Fresno State started into the transfer portal, like Mikey Keene, Malik Sherrod, everybody Phoenix Jackson, everybody was into the transfer portal. And then yesterday morning, I do the sports for our student newscast. I get a text message saying, hey, there might be a new head coach coming in. And that's when the dominoes starting to fall with Matt Entz coming in from North Dakota State. Previously at USC, he is the 23rd head coach of Fresno State. A lot of mixed reaction. I know you have your thoughts, Dwayne. I know that you've said a lot of things on social media. And this is going to be a very interesting time for the Bulldogs, especially you have that bowl game coming up in the next couple of weeks. The Bulldogs do not know who they're going to play in the bowl game. Kind of a little bit of awkward times in the Duncan building at Fresno State.
Yeah, I mean, we can all have, I know we all have our thoughts, and this is going to be an interesting show, you know, because I had, you know, the honor to, you know, play under Coach Skipper as his first running back to get drafted, I believe his first player, his first drafted player. And I had a chance to catch Coach Skipper right when he was done playing Bulldog football. So he actually transitioned from that coaching element, from that playing element, and literally like maybe a year, 6 months to a year, he transitioned into a coach mindset. Those are two different mindsets, you know what I mean? But at the same time, that dog that's in you don't leave. So My thing was, and at the end of the show, I'll get to the bottom of it, but my thing was, why not give that man an opportunity, you know what I mean, to actually recruit, to actually have his own, coaching staff, his own mindset, his own just flow of the game, man. Just the way he operates, the way he wants to promote the program. I mean, his recruiting states that he came from. I mean, he was at, Florida Gators, and he was doing this thing. A lot of people forget that. When I was reading a lot of tabloids and things of that nature, I don't think they really know the background of Coach Skipper and also his family background with his father coaching in the NFL for many, 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 many years, and his brother coaching the NFL for many, 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 many years, and actually, coaching at the Raiders and things of that nature. He comes from a family that's grounded, that knows how to coach, that knows the game of football, and also he's not just an assistant coach. He's not just a defensive coordinator. This man has deserved to go through the ranks like everyone else to be a head coach. That was my gripe right there. That was my whole gripe. I just kept getting people that didn't understand the true game of football and how coaches have to go through different levels of a day, right? And I let Dante talk a little bit, and then because he's an alum, a big time alum as well. And I know he wants to share. So Dante, go ahead.
No, what bothered me was I don't know why I did it, but I got on that Facebook group talk. And this is what I get pissed off about, because people were making the comments, oh, you're mad because your buddy didn't get hired. First of all, let me say this. Kelly Skipper played at Fresno State, which is Tim's older brother. That was the first person to come to West Oakland to recruit me for Fresno State. He was the running backs coach at Fresno State back in 1996. As Coach Hill was tying up loose ends in Cleveland or wherever he was coming from, Kelly Skipper showed up at McClymonds High School in West Oakland and started recruiting me. I played with Skipper for 4 years. Blood, sweat, and tears with that man. I've seen his preparation for 4 years. That was my teammate. Like you said, D. Wright, he was the linebacker coach at University of Florida, right? He was a DC. He's had a great coaching resume. The biggest thing that I have a problem with Fresno State is when you have former players that are really doing their coaching thing, and they have aspirations, or they have the desire to want to coach at their university that they are alumnus of. You should have serious talks with those guys. You get what I'm saying? It
Yeah.
just it pissed me off, because here we go again, the stepping stone school for another coach to come in, sit here for 1, 2, maybe 3 years, and then bounce to a bigger school. DeBoer was a great guy, had a good relationship with him. He did a great job at Fresno State. So I'm not gonna just say, I don't know the new coach, so I'm not gonna go either way. I'm just speaking for Tim, and far as what I know, right? There's a lot of intricate details that go on behind the scenes that all these fans and some of these guys that are armchair GMs, they talk so much on social media, but they don't even have a clue of what goes into that. First of all, interim head coach, substitute teacher. I
Say it
coach.
again.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
I've been coaching 10 years, 9 years JUCO, 1 high school. I'm the current secondary coach at San Francisco City, right? I've coached at the NFLPA College All-Star Game 3 years. I have a good resume. I know what goes on behind the scenes. It's more than what people see on game day. Now, to put this in perspective, Timmy was the linebackers coach, right? So Teddy ends up having some health issues, a week or so before the season
Mm-hmm.
starts,
Mm-hmm.
and he has to leave. So now a guy that's a position coach is thrust into the position of running an entire program. You can't remember the term interim substitute teacher. You have zero power to hire or fire anybody.
Mm-hmm.
And he was doing 2 jobs. He's still the linebackers coach. He's the now head coach, right? Now, Kevin Coyle, love him to death. That was my DC. He's the DC there. Jethro Franklin, D-line coach. He was my D-line coach. J.D. Williams was my position coach. He's there on staff. John Baxter, special teams coordinator, tight end coach. He was there when I was there for 4 years. We played for those guys. Now, flip it. Now you doing what I say. And I'm not saying there was any rifts, but just the dynamic in the rush and the hurry upness to this whole season. Can't blame the lack of execute. I'm not gonna say execution, but the lack of winning what we thought we should have won in terms of those games. Yes, they were close. Yes, I believe we should have and could have won those games. However, that's a big job, and he went 6-6 and got a bowl game. So my question is, if this new coach comes in and he goes 6-6 and he doesn't win 9 games, I want to see the same energy from the fans that they was giving Tim Skipper. That's just my gripe right there. Because I'm okay. My first year was Pat Hill's first year. I was his first recruiting class. We went 6-6 that year. But calling for his head, where fans saying, "Oh, he's not the guy for the job." He's an icon in Fresno State.
Mm-hmm.
He built it. He taken over from the Sweeney era. Pat Hill put Fresno State on the map. The Green V will play anybody, anywhere, anytime, any place. That was his mantra. So why couldn't we give a qualified Tim Skipper a 2-year, 3-year deal to get his vision, his coaching staff, recruit his players, and see it through? Why we couldn't do that? That's my gripe.
And the thing is, if you look at there's a lot of what ifs. If Skipper did get the head coaching job, would he change the offense? Would that mean Pat McCann goes somewhere else? Who would he bring in? And there was a lot of unanswered questions, especially concerning that, especially at the end of the season, with how the offense looked on Saturday. It was like a Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde of how the whole entire season has gone. I know Pat McCann, great coach, but when it came down to the X's and O's, a little bit of decisions that were very questionable in the game. But hey, you know what? Sometimes it's 2025, cannot come soon enough. But at the same time, especially in that press conference today, Coach Entz was saying, hey, we want to build our team from within, not going from the transfer portal. We want to get JUCO guys, which that stood out to me, especially here in the Valley. We talked about JUCO a lot, and it's really interesting to see that he knows the brand of football Fresno State wants to play, and you want to bring guys from the Valley like the Corcorans and the Madeiras and the Modestos and the Bakersfields, and to make a one united, one Valley squad. I was really impressed about how he said that, but I feel for Skipper, but at the same time, I kind of want to see what Entz will do. It's kind of like a 50-50 for me.
Well, I know I listened to the press conference. All right, I had to. I was literally in my office. Students were coming through. I said, you know what? I got to listen to this. For the JUCO part of it, and there were some other things that I really enjoyed about his press conference. I'm 100% behind JUCO, signing JUCO players. I was a JUCO guy, and me and Dante both coached JUCO pretty much our whole coaching careers. So when you look at it that way, then we talk about the coaching spectrum. Are you going to bring in your guys? Are you going to bring in some JUCO guys that's been around the Valley and been around California? I mean, what are you going to do with your coaching staff? Are you going to keep the current coaching staff, or are you going to try to bring Coach Skipper back? These are the questions that I know a lot of, the Red Wave and some of the Bulldog fans and, even the players. You wake up in the morning, there's players transferring. You don't think the coaches already knew that something was going to happen the next day? Yes, they did. So if a player felt that he was attached or wasn't attached to Coach Skip and the coaches that are there, they wouldn't even enter the portal. You got starting quarterbacks, you have running backs, you have DBs, you have linebackers, you have O-linemen. I mean, obviously, I would have put up a red flag then and there if, whoever makes the decisions, right, wherever it come from, I would have probably, tried to slow down a little bit on some of my decision making. But again, this is a business, and we understand that. And we understand that Coach Skip is our guy. We love Coach Skip. You know what I mean? And I'm going to ride with him 100%. And he had all the qualifications. Our gripe is, why didn't you at least give him an opportunity? Just an opportunity to maybe get that teaching credential, step out of the substitute role and be allowed to actually recruit from Florida, recruit from Louisiana, be able to come to the Valley and take all of our big time players. These are a lot of good players are getting signed to the Bulldogs. I love it. But at the same time, what happened to our LA, San Diego, our Long Beach, our Oakland, that type of player as well? Because I remember when we played at Fresno State, we had players from everywhere in California. Nobody wanted to go to USC. Nobody wanted to go to UCLA. If they did, it was for something else. But if you wanted that hard nose, that fundamental football, you're going to Fresno State. You're playing for Pat Hill. You're playing for Baxter. You're playing for JD. You're playing for Coach Skip. You're playing for whoever's there. Coach Wagner. I mean, I can go on and on. Coach Brown. Rest in peace. I mean, come on now. You're talking about a guy who played with some gurus. And yes, I'm going to stop talking because Mike Stovall is on. We're going to give him an opportunity to talk, and then we're going to bring it back after he talked to a commercial. Mike Stovall, you on, Mike?
Good morning, or good evening, sir. Good morning, good evening, good night.
What up, Mikey Mike?
Sorry I'm late, guys.
You good, man. You good, man. So we're just basically just sharing our thoughts, and then we're going to go to commercial after you share, and we're going to come back, and we're going to dig deeper in it, man. So how do you feel, man?
How much time do I got?
Well, man, it's going to go to commercial like the movies if you start talking for about an hour or so, man. Now you good.
All right. So
now go ahead and start sharing, man.
So for me, I don't know what you guys covered already, but for me, God, man, we missed an opportunity. I'm frustrated. It's not putting all this into one, 20 minutes or talking like that. I don't know if I can do that very well, but this is a culmination of 25 years of poor decisions within this organization, and I think it's sad to see it continue. I honestly thought that Skip understood what was going on behind the curtains. We all know that the program doesn't have the money that it needs to sustain itself, and I think there's a lot of reasons for that. We can go into that, but I think he understood all the mess that it is, but he also was willing to kind of roll up his sleeves and do the dirty work. He was already doing it, and I think he kind of got slapped in the head, which to me was very disrespectful. Mm-hmm. So that's the sum of it. But I think there's other issues within the athletic department, within Fresno State itself, from the president down, internally behind the scenes, people with money, the Debbie A. Stones of the world. Mm-hmm. There's people that are underqualified and not qualified to do the jobs that they're doing. And when someone says that maybe Skipper isn't the most qualified or the best qualified to do it, point to me from the president down who has done their job before somewhere else. No one has. So why would we take a stance against Skip on the head coaching position, knowing that he's applied for the job 5 times?
Right.
At least give the guy a chance. At minimum, give him a courtesy of 2 years and say, hey, make or break. And as well as I do, on everybody on this podcast, I've already talked to Dante and yourself and other guys. We're going to do everything we can to get 2 or 3 donors involved, get ourselves involved, do whatever we need to do. Like, he needs to sit us down. I'm not doing this with a new coach. I'll be honest. I'm not. But if Skip said, hey, Mike, I'm going to get everybody in the Josephine building, and we're going to sit everybody down, and we need to come out of there with $4 million. Let's figure it out.
Right.
I honestly truthfully believe we'll find that $4 million somewhere, or whatever that number is.
Man, that's awesome, man. I mean, that's you spoke and touched on some very important things. And I think when we come back from this quick commercial, we are going to talk about it. We're going to bring Joe Rigo on next, man. I'm telling you, guys are loading in because this is a touchy subject, man. So we're going to go to a commercial. We're going to pop in with Joe Rigo, and we'll be right back, fellas.
Okay.
All right, we are back, y'all. We back. Hey, look, we just trying to promote a good show. We've been on for about 7 weeks straight, and we've been getting a lot of feedback, and our following just been growing and growing and growing because this is about the truth. This show, Straight Up on Game, is about guys coming on here and sharing the truth, no BS, real coaches, real players, real analysts. I mean, you name it. But before we even go on and go on and go on, yo, baby, yo, our boy Joey Rigo is on the line. What's up, Joe?
What's up, Devo? Hey, Dante, what's up, brother? What's up, Diab and Brian, man? Hey, it's good to see my boys. What's up, Snow? Hey, thank you for. I'm sorry I'm late. I live in Vegas, as most of you know, and I was at a spot tonight hosting a watch party for the Detroit Green Bay game. So I had slided a little bit late, went a little long. So I apologize for being a little tardy tonight.
We know you're a Green Bay fan. We talk about that later. That's all we know. Hey, but for y'all that don't know, Joe Rigo, that's my big bro right here, man. We've been in the game for a very long time. During the draft, he was actually the first analyst who was really promoting me across the East Coast. I was still in college. And we thought I was going to get drafted. I think it was in the first and second round. We was all wrong to Green Bay. But, thank you, brother, for being on. I mean, you know Fresno State like we know Fresno State. You know UNLV football. I mean, you just know football. Can you share with the fans and the viewers, what is your, share on this whole coaching carousel that's going on?
All right. So I'm going to preface what I'm saying because, everybody, I think you and Dante in particular know how. I'm in Skip's inner circle, and that's one of my best friends in the world. I love him like a big brother, even though we're around the same age. I think he got done dirty, and I'm gonna explain to you why.
Yep.
When Tedford announced, I seen Jeff out here in Vegas on Mountain West Media Day, and Jeff and I talked on the side, and I said, Coach, how you feeling? He goes, I got to get some tests done, but we'll see what happens in a week, but just stay tuned. I didn't think anything of it at that time because it was just a private conversation between us. And then I got a text from Skip not too long after. I think it was 2 or 3 days later. Where it just was the eyes emoji, and I'm like, "Yo, what does this mean, bro?" And he goes, "Just another emoji with this." And I'm like, "Okay, I have no idea. I never in a million years did I think that Coach Tedford was going to step down for health reasons." And when he did, Skip and I talked that night, and we had a good 30-minute conversation about a lot of different things pertaining to the program and whatnot. And as you know, Dwayne, and I think Dante knows as well, I cover UNLV. I'm the one person that if something's happening with UNLV, I know before anybody else. And I'm going to be the one to break it or whatever the case may be. And UNLV knows my relationship with Skip. So Skip, Schmitty, JD, those are my guys. So when everything started to transpire throughout the season, I was again, Skip and I would text throughout the week just because we're friends. How you doing? General conversation. Talk about different recruits in our area in Vegas and wherever else. Hey, check this kid out right here. I want to see any kid. I'm gonna make this clear. Any kid, any person of color, I want them to go to college for free and leave without debt. And I don't care where they're from. That's the most important thing to me when it comes to recruiting. Being a Hispanic, any Latino, any African American, I want to make sure you leave college debt free. So I'm always going to promote that. Dwayne, you know that as well as anybody, right? And then I was out there because I got 2 kids out in Clovis. I got 2, a 5 and a 4-year-old in Clovis, and I went out there and for the Hawaii game. And as I'm watching the game, I'm calling out the plays from the red. I'm in the red seats, and I'm calling out the plays. So here comes a bubble. Oh, here's a drag. Oh, here's zone.
Sound typical.
Inside zone. Oh, here we're going here, and it was horrible. And I got kids on Hawaii, Micah Alejado, all the Gorman kids I've had relationships with. So I'm not torn. I want Fresno State to win because of my relationship with Skip. but I want my players, if they're in, to have a good game. And when I left the game, I ran into Cam Morrell. And Cam's one of my, again, a close friend. And Cam is like, bro, like, this is ridiculous. And I told him straight up, I thought the offensive coordinator was trash. He's predictable. He shouldn't be calling plays. That Skip really was like kind of hung out to dry. Now, mind you, I believe that Tedford left the program when he did with the sole purpose of Skip being elevated to the head coach.
100%.
And
100%.
And with the support of alumni, with the support of boosters, with the support of the Valley behind him, I mean, and with all this stuff that was going on behind the scenes that nobody's going to know about, Dante, we were in that Twitter thing where they just don't know what is actually happening because, and it's not our place to say anything because some things are left behind closed doors. Fans don't necessarily know that. That's why they're fans.
Yep.
And when I left there that night, I got told by a number of former players that if Skip is not the head coach, not only are they leaving their jobs within the school, whatever the school has them as, but they're stopping donating any money to the program because for anybody else, Fresno State will become a stepping stone program based on the fact that the facilities need an upgrade and there's no financial backing for that. That the stadium needs upgrades. There's no financial backing for that. And they don't know how much money that they're going to get from the Pac-12 for whatever TV deal they think they're going to get. And I've seen the number 14 million. That's I don't think that's realistic. I think you drop that down about $4 or $5 million. And that's kind of what they're going to get based on the schools that are in there currently. And I talked to Skip that night. And obviously he was kind of dejected after the Hawaii loss. And then when everything happened this week, quite frankly, I was pissed off. I don't know if we're allowed to curse on this. So, like, I mean.
This is a late night show. You can, hey, let it happen, man.
Look, I was fucking pissed. I thought they did get dirty.
Right.
I thought, look, let's be real. The AD went against the hiring firm for the basketball coach. They have 5 other names. And the AD went with the local high school guy because he said he could get local NIL. Like, why do you waste that money with a hiring firm if you're not going to listen to them? So I talked to former players. I didn't hit Dante. I should have hit you, Dante. I should have hit you, Debo. And they're like, hey, what do you guys think? But I think dude's in over his head because if you're going to pay that money for a hiring firm, listen to them. So now you come out and you hire Entz, who, let me be clear about this. He's a hell of a head coach. What he did at North Dakota State was phenomenal. 62 wins, 2 Division II national championships. God bless you. What you did with USC's linebackers last year, you did a hell of a job. But you don't turn your back on a person that is the pure definition of a bulldog.
Mm-hmm.
It's a man that blood, sweat, and tears Fresno State. That when he was here at UNLV, he and I had very candid conversations like, man, how do you feel about playing against him? He's like, bro, I'm torn. I'm torn with that. Like that. I love Fresno State, but like I want to win games. But it's literally the whole. This is the steps that are being taken. So I thought Skip was done dirty. The offensive coordinator was in it over his head. Let's be real. Dante, you know this as much as anybody, bro. Coach Tedford on his call sheet had every down and distance, every scenario. All he had to do was look and call. He didn't put that shit together during the week. Coach Tedford did. So this kid's in over his head. Skip stuck with this guy who really, I don't want to say doesn't know what he's doing, but he's really not an experienced play caller. Skip stuck with him, and the quarterback, Mikey King, was trash this year. If we're being honest, he regressed. And I could tell you during the UNLV game, he got hit. He looked like he was scared to get hit after that game. I'm being as honest as I'm just being a buck with everybody. So when I see that, it's like you're holding Skip accountable for that. And Dante, you had a great point. I think it was you or Cam that said it. Coach Hill started 6-6 his first year. Dante, you were a part of that first group, and you set the standard for what a bulldog is. And for them to not even consider that, and Yeah, it was Skip, the Montana State coach, and Ince. Man, come on now. Like, you keep it local because this is going to be a stepping stone job. Coach Ince is going to be gone in 2 or 3 years, and he's going to get another job where he's going to be fired because he's just not going to win. Like with the lack of facilities, lack of infrastructure, lack of stadium upgrades at the stadium, who the hell wants to go there when you can go to UNLV? You can go to Colorado State, who's got better facilities. You can go to Boise State. You can go to Cal or Washington State. Like it becomes a stepping stone job. And my fear is that Fresno State's the history and tradition of what it means to be a Bulldog isn't going to be there with this group, no matter what he says. He said all the right things today, but that's coach speak.
Can I interject real quick?
Absolutely.
When I came back, because I was living in Atlanta from 2006 to 2013, me and Corey Hall had went to the game at Fresno State. I want to say 14 or 15. I think it was 2015 because I was coaching at MJC. No, I was coaching at CC. So I went to it. We went to a game. We walked on the field, you know, the whole little alumni stuff. And I looked at the players sitting on it was just like it didn't resemble Bulldog football, not one bit. And I think we were 2-8 that year. That was the DeRuiter era.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, I was looking at the roster. I'm seeing kids from Texas. And I'm like, what happened to Oakland? What happened to Bakersfield? What happened to the Valley? Fresno in itself, Westside, Edison High School. What happened to the McLeans? What happened to those schools? What happened to the inner city LA kids? What happened, right? The IE. So I just it didn't look or resemble or feel like Bulldog football. Once again, I'm not gonna pass judgment on Coach Ince because I don't know the guy yet, but I will say that I agree with you 100%. And let me say this to the fans. Y'all got to stop all that crazy talk on this social media.
Amen.
We
yeah.
We love and respect the fans, but y'all talk so crazy like y'all know so much and you don't have a clue. Let me just say this. I personally trained and mentored Phoenix Jackson, still to this day, Azillian Hamilton, Cam Beecham, Jamarion Briggs, Tim Thompson. Those my guys that I helped get to Fresno State, my alma mater, right? And 3 of them just jumped in the portal.
Well,
and go ahead.
It's real shit. Like Corey Foreman and CD Nomura are my guys I got up there for Skip. I coached them in youth football. And then when they went to Corona Centennial, like CD was Skip's #1 linebacker recruit when he was here at UNLV. If it wasn't for USC offering, he would have been a Rebel. So, like, those are guys that I got there because of Skip. And I'm telling you, I've had 4 Bulldogs hit me about transferring. They're already in the portal, but like, hey, we want to go to such and such, or we want to go to UNLV or whatever the case may be. And this was a day ago, and before they announced Ince as the hire, and the day before, and I talked to one on the phone, and I said, look, for me, I'm not going to say anything negative about Bull unless if Skip's not the head coach, and then all bets are off. But as long as Skip is there, I'm going to tell you to hold tight, just because of my relationship. That's my brother.
Right.
And so I see, like, guy asked, did Skip have the power to change who was calling plays? Not really. You're an interim head coach. It's not like it's your OC. It's not like it's your handpicked quarterback. Like Mike,
go ahead and share, because I know go ahead and share, Mike. I know you have something on your mind too, and we want to hear from all 3 of you all, because we talk every week, and we like to hear, the truth, right? So, Mike, I heard a little laugh a little bit when we were talking. Share something. Share what you was thinking. All the parts.
I think you're doing a good job of hitting on some hot buttons. Gosh, man. I mean, let's go with the last one with Skip. 100% he didn't have the ability to fire an OC during the middle of the season with an interim tag on his name. That I don't think the fans understand that. I saw that so many times, Dante. I know you jumped in on 1 or 2 of them. It's like, guys, we can't put this in perspective. Skip, let me walk through this if you don't mind. Skip was told 7 days before fall camp, hey, you're the guy. Let's go. Okay. Keep in mind, we didn't have a nutritionist in place to feed these kids. It's not a big deal you don't have a nutritionist? No big deal. It's 210 meals a day at minimum.
A day. Mm-hmm.
To kids. That's not something you just pull out of your ass and go, oh, well, we'll figure it out. Go Taco Bell. No, we have a regiment of what's going on with these kids. So, and then all of a sudden, the nutritionist, left. And from what I'm understanding from different people, I don't know this is factual, but there was a couple days in between. There was supposed to be some interviews going on with nutritionists. Skip found out halfway through the middle of the week when that nutritionist was supposed to come on board and start Monday. That was like a Thursday. They were going to start Monday with the next weeks of food. So it was going to be bing, bang, boom. He didn't find out until Thursday, before that next Monday, that he needed a nutritionist. That's just one thing. His game plan, like the camps, nothing was set up with the timing on the camps. He had to figure all that out. I would imagine the guy probably worked 20-hour days trying to figure that out. The time and effort that he put into this program just to get us competitive, and the way we brought it to the field against Michigan, the first game, that should say a lot. In my opinion, I think we should have won the Hawaii game. We didn't. I'm willing to strike that against them. But I think the way we played, considering all the things that were against us at the beginning of the season, losing our head coach, namely, we played our asses off against Michigan. And if anybody begs to differ, I'd love to hear that. But, I mean, considering all the things that were against us, they balled. And especially our defense, they balled. It was fun to watch. They shut down everything that Michigan did. Obviously, they scored more points than we did, but considering that their NIL, this is a fun fact, their NIL money for those Michigan kids was more than our entire athletic department program combined. Their NIL money, $16 million, was more than our athletic department. So you want to talk about David and Goliath? Yes. Skip, another thing I'll touch on is that people need to know is Skip was interviewed for this job 5 times. DeRuiter. Let me go back. I'm like feeling it right now. So I'm trying to,
before DeRuiter. Go ahead, Mike.
That I know of, DeRuiter he interviewed for Tedford the first time. He found out that Tedford was in. Obviously, Tedford's a legacy, legend. He got fired at Cal and got picked up with us. And then when DeBoer came in, he put his name in the hat. DeBoer was Tedford's guy. All good. Obviously, DeBoer went off to great things. That was a good choice. Everything worked out. Tedford came back. He interviewed again when he came back. And when he interviewed, he found out that Tedford was coming back. Tedford called him and said, "Hey, I want you on my staff. You're my guy." So he basically said, "DeBoer, you're my DeBoer now." So I think that says a lot when we need to move this forward. So when he was on the plane, I believe coming from UNLV, you guys may correct me on that. Please do if I'm wrong. But on the plane ride to Fresno, he gets off and gets some text messages saying, "Hey, congratulations on assistant head coach." And he didn't even know, Tedford didn't even tell him that he was the head coach. But that tells you how much respect a guy that's been doing this. In my mind, it's definitely a Bulldog legend in Coach Tedford. That tells you how much respect he had for Coach Skip. Another thing I want to bring up is when you go back, and I spent some time going back through Skip's lineage and as far as his coaching experience and his history, at every stop, his defense has improved within their ranks, had improved the year over year while he was at each stop. Tell me another coach that has improved his position, national rankings for tackles, interceptions, tackle for losses, all the things that we measure good defenses by. Show me another coach that has improved over 20 years at every single stop. And he's been named, I think, assistant head coach 4 times, including in the SEC, an interim head coach. So
Mike, to your point, when they fired Tony Sanchez, Skip was named the interim head coach for UNLV, and he was running the program until they hired Marcus Arroyo. And even to add on top of that, I personally think and I think we all can agree, we've been around this game a long time.
Yep.
Tedford stepping down when he did was pretty much kind of like handing it off to Skip, so they wouldn't have to have a coaching search.
Yep.
And it was planned that way. Maybe not for Skip may not have known, but Coach Tedford did. So to your point, you're 100%. I agree with everything you just said. I mean, and I asked this, and I had a big ass thing on Twitter. I wrote. I know I tagged Dante. Debo, I didn't tag you. I had the wrong Twitter handle for you, but name another coach that's done it the right way. Like he's more than paid his dues to be a head coach.
Amen.
And I'll say this. I'll be honest. I texted him yesterday, and I texted him at like 11 o'clock yesterday morning when I heard that he wasn't going to be the head coach. And he got back to me at 6 p.m. And I had basically said, like, bro, I'm hurting for you.
Yeah.
Like I literally am hurting for you. This should have been your gig. They did you dirty. I'm sorry. Like, if you need anything, I'm here. And he goes, bro, I'm hurting too. But give me 24 hours. I'm going to get right back at it, and I'll be good.
Yep.
And that's Skip. You know, like, I don't know if there's another coach. I've been around a lot of coaches. From the USC days when I was covering USC to UNLV, Fresno State. I don't know if there's a more professional, and I don't know if there's a more jovial coach than Skip, a guy that always looks at things from the bright side of things. And I'll share this with you guys. After the UNLV game, I ran into Coach Hill, and I was getting my stuff out of the press box. So I don't stay in the press box during games. I go down to the sidelines. And I was getting my stuff out of the press box, and Coach Hill and I stopped and we started talking. He goes, hey, I'm tired of this soft-ass Fresno State football. Skip's going to make them play real football.
Yeah.
The way they're
Sounds
playing.
like.
And he said they're playing soft. They're playing like pussies right now. And I was just like, he's like, Tim's the right guy to lead this program going forward. Now, when Coach Hill says that, and Coach Tedford kind of set it up for Skip, that makes you really think, like, to me, if I'm an athletic director and I got two iconic coaches saying this, I better have pause and I better really, really rethink everything, because look at how the players played all year for Skip. The defense kept them in every one of them games that they were in.
Yep.
It wasn't the offense. The defense kept them. I mean, look at again. I'll use you as the example. UNLV beat the brakes off of them, but it could have been a hell of a lot worse. But that defense was fighting all the way through to the fourth, even the last play of the fourth quarter.
Yep.
So I mean, I don't know if another coach could have got that out of them, to be honest with you.
Yep.
It just comes down to the hiring process. At the end of the day, I know we all feel this is how I feel. This is why I don't come around, and I don't care who thinks I'm a record holder at Fresno State. So you can say what you want, but I don't come around because I feel, and there's a lot of us that don't speak up. That's why I think this platform is important tonight.
Amen.
If I'm going to show up to Fresno State and I broke all these records, I paid my scholarship back, I was under Coach Skip, under Coach Hill, Frank Signet, all the greats, Baxter. If I have to step up to a gate and pay, or they're like, you have to wait in line and somebody will get to you to get into this alumni section or whatever it is, bro. There's a lot of things that recruits see, parents of recruits that were alumni, people who actually donate from behind the scenes. Who makes these decisions? They can say Pat Hill was in the interview room. They can say those are all the greats. They can say Tedford. They can say whoever was in that meet. But, like, who really made these decisions? That's what I want to know.
President and the AD.
Okay. Both knew. I'm not going to disrespect them because I respect their grind, because God bless them to get to where they're at. But when it comes to straight bulldog football and bringing people in that has a passion like no other, I got in an argument with a fan the other day on social media. He was telling me what he was looking at from the sideline, and I was telling him what I actually been through as a player. So it was just like so crazy to me that you can actually think, and I respect all our fans. I love our Bulldog fans. I love the Red Wave, but we can speak our mind, because you can't take my scholarship away because we already we already been through. So, but right. So all I'm gonna say is, think about it. Joe explained it. Stovall explained it. Dante explained it. Welch is he's our stat guy. He'll get on and talk stats. He's gonna talk some stats in a few seconds. But when you think about Bulldog football, Baxter could have been a head coach. JD Williams could have been a head coach.
Man.
I mean, let's go down the line, fellas. Let's be real about this. Who else? Jethro could have been a head coach. Kevin could have been a head coach.
Yep.
You want to talk about quality and qualified gentlemen that's right in front of you?
Yep.
I'm not knocking the new coach because one of my mentors told me some great things about him, and I did some research. We're going to talk about that later. But how dare you not even take the consideration of Bulldogs who's been through there and blood, sweat, and tears and built that stadium, built the locker rooms. When we were at Fresno State, we didn't have no locker rooms. We had like a gate lockers.
Yep.
And we all shared showers, and our weight room was crap until at the end they started building up on it. We had holes in our jerseys. We had little holes in our jerseys with the paint. When I first got to Fresno State, we didn't have what everybody had because Pat Hill stepped up and John Baxter came up with an idea about the about the V, and then we ran with it. We start selling cars. We start hustling. We start we start doing things, selling candy. Like we was doing everything to bring funds into the Valley over, what is it, like $5 million or something crazy Pat Hill brought into our football program. And people forget about who grew up in that time, in that era, and who actually built what we got now. How dare you not be able to reach out to some of the best players, and players like Stovall, Dante Marsh, Paul Williams, who else, y'all? Everybody that you see that's involved. You got offensive linemen at Fresno State who give back, and they didn't. Nobody even know who they were. Yep. Kevin Jordan was an offensive lineman, and he was just a blocker, and he's one of the most influential Bulldogs that came through there to help out the program. Yep. But you got guys like me that don't want to come back, that people heard of all the time because of these decisions that's made. There's a problem with that.
Well, one of the things, and you touched on some good stuff. One of the things that I did have lunch with Classy when he first came into town, and I need personally, from my vantage point, a lot of my comments aren't directed at the new coach.
Right.
I think I could probably speak for most of you guys on some of that stuff. I don't know him, so this isn't directed at him. But
not all
is Classy was asking some really good questions, and it really gave me hope for first time in a long time, to be honest. He's like, if you were me, what would you do? The first thing I said is you need to do an open invitation, open bar, pizza, whatever you got to do at Josephine, get all the alumni in, do an event. It doesn't have to be at the Table Mountain. It doesn't have to be flashy, but get some Coors Lights and some Bud Lights or whatever it is, and waters. And let's get in the Josephine building and spend 4 hours going through a bucket list of, hey, here's what I'm thinking. What do you guys think? And get feedback. Here's what I'm thinking. Here's where our downfall is. Here's where we need money. Here's where we need help. Mm-hmm. If you guys were me, what would you do? I would bring that group of men in, and then I would also bring in the farmers, and I'd bring in the businessmen.
There we go.
Groups. And then I would take 10 people from each one of those groups and put them in a room and say, okay, I've got a collective group. You guys spoke out the most. And I'd have somebody poking that person after the meeting and saying, hey, come with us. We're going to do another meeting together. We want to invite you to that. And that would be at a nicer, classier, no pun intended. That'd be a classier joint. Dress up with your wives. I want to get to know you. I don't care how much money you give to the program. You spoke up and had an opinion. I want you in the room. And then build on that so that those guys walk out and say, hey, Wright, get your ass to this thing. We're doing this thing over here.
Right.
No excuses, Dante. Come down. I don't care what you got going on. This is important. Get down here. Nate Ray, all those cats. And that's how you build this thing back. And one thing I'll give credit to Toomey on, I love Toomey. I would consider him a friend. The guy was a good dude. And one of the things that he did with me and Kevin Jordan and Tony Audino and some other guys is he brought us down to that UCLA game in 2020, I think. And he took us to the alumni tent,
and showed us what UCLA does for their alumni, and how much they brag on their alumni football players. And we wanted to recreate that in the Club Red. Everybody got a hold of it and tore it all apart and did stupid stuff. If you ever go to the Club Red, there's hardly anybody there. I put my money and my time into building the quarterback club because I don't know about you guys, but for me, my mom came from Redlands, and
Yes.
my mom came up and she had nowhere to go. She didn't know where to go. Single mom. She always hung out with the quarterback club group because they always welcomed her in and did barbecues and or whatever. So I'm trying to recreate that. And there's 5 or 6 people that have held on through the quarterback club for the last 25 years that I'm trying to just echo what they've been trying to do. And we've gotten quite a few people. I'd say we probably had 10 or 15 sets of parents come into the tailgate this year, but I want to build that thing back, or I was wanting to build that thing back.
Yeah.
I don't know. Honestly, I don't know where I'm at right now. I'm so
big shout out to the quarterback club, man, because they helped my family out too. Like when they come from San Diego, when the Piccadilly Inn, it was a club. I mean, it was them. It was a quarterback club. When I blew out my knee, guess what? Guess who was feeding me? Guess who was? It was the quarterback club. And these are the things that I felt that we got too flashy. I know Dante could talk about this a lot too. At a time, Fresno State got real flashy around the DeRuyter era somewhere. We got real flashy and forgot about the guys who actually built that thing. And that's why I feel like we're in a predicament. We got to remember where we came from. We have to remember where we came from. In order to build that stadium, we got to go back old school. You know what I mean? We got to talk, like you were saying, we got the farm system there. You know, most of our students are studying what? How to build farms and be successful. So why can't we utilize what we got?
Let me give you guys, if I'm talking too much, just talk over me.
No, brother, you right on track.
So for me, I left my former job, and I was unemployed on purpose for about 8 months. I went to the athletic department and basically said, I'm yours. I don't have to work. I don't have any responsibilities other than my family. Where do you need me? I just want to volunteer wherever. And I want to be aggressive and put together a program and show you guys how to sell, how to negotiate, how to bring shit to the table. Like, show me where to go. There was no direction. So I just jumped in the car and started creating stuff on Barkboard and meeting up with people from Turlock down to Bakersfield. Nothing flashy, just coffee, breakfast, lunches. I'd go to, Rotary clubs, whatever I could do to get things going, help Marcus on the Bulldog Bread stuff, get the message out, talk about the silos of Bulldog Foundation, Bulldog Sports Properties, Bulldog Bread, all that stuff. And we set up a fundraiser. Turlock used to be a huge little pocket of, they still are amazing fans. But it used to be a powerful group of people up in that group that gave a lot of money to Coach Hill, and they supported him like blindly.
Yes.
So I reconnected with some of those cats. They're good people. I spent an evening, 2 evenings with them. I drove up there and had a couple of evenings with them, talking through concept, looking at what's possible. We put together a fundraiser. Upwards of about 50 grand is what we were estimating of what this thing would bring in. It cost me $3 grand. So I was going to pony up the $3 grand and say, hey, I don't want that to be an issue with Bulldogs, Foundation or whatever. I'll pay the money, just pay me back. And no response. So I just kept pushing. We created flyers. We started talking about it, getting people excited about it. Then I got stepped in on by the athletic department, and they said, hey, this is actually, this is a good opportunity for us to kind of spread our legs into Turlock. Long story short, we're going to take it over and we're going to run it. You guys be a part of it. We don't want to kick you out, but we want to kind of spread our legs. We like where this is going. Okay, cool. Everything is above board. I'm an offensive lineman, guys. I don't really need the credit. I don't care. Don't have the ego. If you want to do it, brother, I'll do everything and anything I can to help support this thing. It's 50 grand for the program. I'm in, right? About a week and a half before the program, I texted the main guy up there, Jeff. Great guy, amazing dude, Bulldog fan through and through. And I said, hey, Jeff, just checking in, man. I want to make sure that everything's set up, everything's ready to go. I haven't heard much. Where are we at? He calls me back 5 minutes, 10 minutes later. He's like, Mike, I don't know if you're going to believe this, but they just emailed me and said that the whole event's off.
Oh,
What?
Wow.
So I called the appropriate person and said, hey, kind of a WTF, you know, what's going on? And they said, well, we just couldn't pay the $3,000. And it's like, huh? Well, why wouldn't you call
Wow.
me? Why wouldn't you call me and say, hey, Mike, we need you to pony up? Are you still willing to do that? Or can you do 1,500? Or what, where are you at? What do you think? I would have put it on my credit card if I had to. I would have been broke, no money coming in. I would have put it on my credit card if I had to, because I think all of us on this board would have done the same thing. I'm not special. We believe in where this thing could be. We're still bought into what this program, what Coach Hill sat down and talked to us in our living rooms. I'm angry. Coach Hill sold us a vision of what this place could become. And I'm from Nebraska and I'm buying into this crap. Dante's from Oakland. What I think, right? You're from down south. The whole state was in on what is Fresno State? What does that look like? We want to be a part of that. It's big time. Where are we headed? We want to be involved. And they just shit down their leg.
Wow.
I don't know what else to say. At some point, accountability has to slap the athletic department in the face and say, for God's sakes, man, if you can't do it, get out of the way. Let somebody that can, you know. It's like Paris Gaines running up on my ass. He's like, hey, if you can't block that guy, you know, I'm gonna be in your dish. You're gonna have bruises all over your back. You better do it, or else.
Yeah.
I feel like that's where we need to be with the alumni, with the athletic department, is respectfully, hey, you're in that position. It's your job. It's your livelihood. But if you can't get it done, here's the accountability level. If you can't get it done, get out. Move on. Sorry, I got emotional, but that's.
No, you should be though. Like, you're passionate about it, right? And here's another name that probably should be involved: George Takata. Like, I don't know if there's a person that is more passionate about Bulldog football than George, and to have George not even around the program
Shoved
is
out.
a fucking injustice.
Yep.
I talked to George last night.
Did you?
Yeah. That's my guy. That's George is my dude. So one other thing I would like to touch on that's very important that I think a lot of fans don't really understand this aspect of it. It's 2024, almost 2025. College football, college athletics in general is no longer what we all participated in and what we grew up watching. It's not that anymore. It's not amateur sports anymore. It is a business, a real business now, right? You're talking about kids. I'm not gonna say kids. These are young men, right? They could transfer, no problem. When we were in school, you want to transfer, you're gonna lose a year eligibility, and you had to bump down conference, right, or division. The opportunity for the players to maximize their name, image, and likeness. 98% of these guys are never gonna play pro football. This is it. So, in one sense, I'm happy for the young men able to get paid, right? But on the other end, it's killing the game, right? But just make big time. They could take a job today and then next year for bigger money, go get another job. Meanwhile, they recruited and started building this program over here. Guys like us, when we had Hill come and talk to us and recruit us there, we're going there because of him and the rest of the coaching staff. So it just kind of bothers me when fans get on it. Oh, well, they're jumping in the portal, whatever. They're not Bulldog born. No, you're not Bulldog born, Bulldog bred, because we had one of our own that should have been running the ship, and y'all shitted on him, and y'all talk so crazy and reckless, and it's people that don't even know what they talking about. Then we get Coach Ince gets the job, and then everybody's kumbaya. Well, I'm not, like I said, I'm not directing this towards the new coach. I'm just saying it's more of an issue of why couldn't Skip was more than qualified to get that opportunity, right? maybe it's not a 5-year deal. Maybe it's a 2-year deal. Maybe it's a 3-year deal. But I think he, like you say, he got shitted on, man. And that's why we're a little perturbed with what's going on. Because I'm going to just say this. I think when you have alumni and people who have real solid ties with the program, I think that's a benefit. Now, we're not saying, hey, just because they went there, they get the opportunity. That's not what we're saying. This guy was more than qualified. So we're talking about people are upset because he stood for everything that Fresno State is. We don't know these other guys. And to not digress from what I was saying, the portal, just because there's a portal, don't mean you're going to get all these transfers and elite players coming to Fresno State. You need Munyon. You need the Munty. You don't have the money, you're not going to get the players. So that's just what's going on, man.
Well, and you're not lying. And I have like 4 former players in the NFL, 4 NFL guys, coaches now, hit me up and they said, how did Skip not get the job? Like, and some of them are, all of them are coaching at the collegiate or NFL level. And I'm like, look, I don't know, but Dante, you're right. Like, what can, and I'm going to use where I'm at versus Fresno State. What can Fresno State offer a player in the portal that UNLV can't? UNLV's playing for a college football playoff spot tomorrow night. Is Fresno State? UNLV has a $36 million football facility and a $2 billion stadium. Does Fresno State? UNLV has the Las Vegas Strip, and if they ever get their shit together with NIL, can Fresno State match that?
No.
Like, these are things, these are real life problems that these players are going through when they hit the portal, and they have a delusional way of thinking, because you could be DB4 on Fresno State. You hit the portal, you're DB 1536. Like, let's be real. Like, if you're not getting the tick on the field already, you're not making plays. Why the hell would someone risk their job to bring you in off of what? You're not what you were in high school, because stars are paid for nowadays. Stars don't mean shit. It's about what the team says.
I'm speaking more of, I don't agree with the players that commit to a school and they get their panties in a bunch because everything's not going their way and they jump ship. I'm against those players.
Yep.
The players that I'm talking about are good players, good players, elite level players that left because you went left. The administration went left, made a decision that steered away from what these players were bought into from the gate. A lot of these players came in. I know Phoenix came in under DeBoer. It was DeBoer and Teddy. Now, like you said, Teddy handed. So those players, I'm not 100% sure, but I have some real good information. I think if Skip was named the head coach, you wouldn't see all these players in the portal. I'm almost for certain.
I'm 100% certain with that. So I've had a few of them hit me and say, if this was yesterday before the hire, if Skip is named the head coach, we're taking our name out the portal. We're coming back. We're there. And there's one big player that right now was on the fence if he's going to stay or not.
Well, you can't get mad at the player, and
Yep.
fans understand it's not that they're not real Bulldogs. If they're leaving to protest for Skip, that's not what it's about. They know this coaching staff. They know the interim head coach. They have a relationship. You have to understand that. That's just what it is. You can't get mad at these young men for making a decision. Because here's a prime example. Let's say Coach Ince, and once again, this is not directed at him. I'm just saying he's the new coach. But if he comes in and he doesn't think that the star whatever player is his guy. As players, we think about this thing. For example, when we came in, Mike, there were a lot of Sweeney guys left over. Pat,
Yep.
and he's on record saying he don't really want to recruit JUCO guys.
Yep.
He was building Fresno State with guys out of high school.
Bricks.
He
Yep.
was the first class of that. He didn't really like the JUCO stuff, right? Because Orlando Huff was a part of a JUCO regime.
I went to high school with Orlando. We played high school ball together. You know what I'm saying? So yeah.
Oh, Huff is my guy, but ask Huff. When Pat got in here, he wasn't recruiting junior college. He was recruiting school players to build his program. So that right there says a lot. And then there's some guys that were under Sweeney that when Pat got here, it didn't work. So they left. So you can't blame the players and try to make it seem so negative. If these players are unsure, they don't know what's coming down the pipe. It's just like when D got to Boulder. Hey, some of y'all might want to jump in the portal because I'm bringing Louis and Gucci. So they left. Some of those guys, because they were underperforming, right? So when he got there, he's now the head coach. He's going to make changes. So fans have to understand that aspect of it too. And then the ultimate bottom line in today's game, in this climate, it's money. If you got a kid that's playing at a mid-major, right, or a group of 5, and he's the guy, and there's a coaching change, there's uncertainty. Fellas, let's talk about the elephant in the room. Some of these programs got millions.
Yeah.
Right? Let's just say what it is. So I think college football gonna turn into maybe 2 to 4 super conferences, and the rest of the D1 is gonna be poaching systems. I hate to say it.
AAA.
2032. 2032 is when everything's going to change, because that's when you're going to see the super. I'll say this. I can say this now. Skip told me in 2020, we were talking about the landscape of college football. This is after he had left UNLV, or they didn't bring him back. He was like, Joe, in the next 5 years, you're going to see 4 major conferences. And then after that, in the next 10 years, you're going to see basically an NFL-style college football landscape, where it's the big schools and the schools that are winning are going to start their own, get out of the NCAA, so they don't have to deal with their legislation, and then the G5s and the rest will be under the rule of the NCAA. And I'll be damned if he's not right.
Yeah.
And you're 100% right. I got a bunch of kids that I help with their recruiting process and whatnot. I got one kid right now that just signed with a Power 4 school yesterday on National Signing Day. He was committed to another. The dad it became a negotiation between 2 schools, and he got up to $3 million. And this guy hasn't caught for over 600 yards in a season, but he's 6'5". He runs a 4.4. He's a state hurdle champion here in Nevada.
Wow. And
he's a receiver. Okay, but you're getting this money for production. I've got another kid right now at a Power 4 school that hit me tonight on my way to watch this game. Was like, I'm thinking about hitting the portal. I'm like, you didn't play this year. Yeah, but, like, I feel like I could go somewhere and play. I said, wait a minute, you're getting about $8,000 a month. Your rent is $2,200. Your bills is you're probably spending $3,500 a month in bills. Plus, I told your parents to put away about $1,000 a month just for taxes on your NIL, which nobody talks about.
Yep.
In January, when that happens, you'll be able to make sure you pay that back. You're going to be good. Who the hell is going to pay you $8,000 if you redshirted last year at the school? You feel?
That's crazy.
That's just real talk. And if we're and to bring it back here to Fresno State ain't paying that to nobody because they don't have the money to do that.
I think it's deeper than that. Is it Joe? I'm sorry. The print's really low or really small. I think it's deeper than that. I don't think we have the intelligence within the athletic department to create that opportunity. I don't think we have any go-getters. We don't have anybody the infrastructure to negotiate opportunities like that. There are companies. I'll tell you. There's B Suite. There's all kinds of ag companies up and down this valley that you walk in the front door and say, "Hey, I'm a Bulldog." They're gonna take you back to their office and show you all their Bulldog stuff and how excited they are about you being a Bulldog and look at what I've got. Right. I've done it my whole career. I worked in dental for a long time, and I can't tell you how many dentists had plaques on the wall with little coins for like 20 years of hey, this is what I did. I was a big dog in 2002, and I was a big dog. I was a big dog when you were there, and a big dog is 50,000 or more.
Oh yeah.
So right. So that's big time. Where are those guys at?
Yeah, where's Chris Pacheco putting up some money? I'll say a name. You know what I'm saying?
Everything's a negotiation, right?
Everything's a negotiation.
They need somebody that can negotiate. I've been in over, I don't know, close to 1,000 negotiations in my life. At least use me on something. I don't even need to know all the details.
Right.
I'm free, and I know there's 20 other guys that have been Bulldogs at least that are sending some type of negotiating for their jobs. Why not pull all of us together and say, hey, can you guys go talk to 2 people this month? And I mean, I'm a sales guy. I'm a sales-minded person. Give me 2%. Give me 1%. Give me 1%. Give me something. Like, give me some skin in the game. Let's go.
Right.
You'll get more. You'll get more out of me.
While we're on that note, fellas, I had lost. I don't know. I couldn't hear or talk, but we do have probably one of the best fan base guys. Red Wave. Yep. Everything you can talk about is on the line right now. We got Justin Watson on the line, man. What's up, Justin?
How you guys doing? Can you hear me all right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
First, I just want to show respect to all you guys. I've watched you guys play. I mean, D. Wright, you're one of my favorite guys of all time. Mike, I watched you play on the line. So just from a fan's perspective, we appreciate you guys.
Thank you.
And I speak for a lot of them. I speak for the guys who have been here for multiple decades. So appreciate that. I mean, I
appreciate that.
Listening for over an hour, and you guys are on the inside and the ins and outs and all the details, like some of you guys were saying that we just flat out don't know. We all know the challenges of the financial side of this university. But there's one thing that we all have in common, and that of the university through and through, through. And you guys might have seen, I mean, I have went on both sides of the aisle when it comes to Skip. I love Skip. I love Skip. I watched him play. I remember him. I was 15 years old.
Yeah, you look 15 right now. How old are you, Justin? When you were 15, you look like you 18, man.
39.
Oh, man.
It's a skincare treatment.
Right.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Thank you. But as far as a human being, and again, from the outside, you guys know him on a personal level, but from the outside, as a human being, you don't get better than Tim. You just don't. I mean, if you can read people, Tim is a genuine good dude, and he can. As far as I'll say this, and I've said this a few times, as far as a face of the program, like I'll put him up there, and I'm not talking about what he's done like on a legendary status, like Sweeney and Hill, but as far as a face of a program, who you would want to be out in front of it all, I'll put him up there with any of those guys. Any of them.
Well, Justin, making the connection, he was recruited by Sweeney, played for Coach Hill, and coached under Tedford, and played under Tedford when he was our offensive coordinator. So, I mean, he's the connection point to a launching pad of what could be, what's possible. One question I want to ask you, Justin, is you've been on the boards and you've commented, and I appreciate the thoughtful responses. Is there anything that you want to ask any of our guys, anybody on this panel? Is there a question that came up and you're like, man, that'd be a good question to ask? Because I think somebody on this panel could probably answer it.
There's so many ways to go. Number one is I don't want to. I say we. I know we were talking about this before. Like Fresno State is in my blood. In my blood. I'm gonna say we till the day I die. You know what I mean? I love it. I don't want to lose any of you guys. You guys are Fresno State. And I understand that. There's levels of disappointment here. Like no doubt about it. No doubt about it. I mean, on personal level and where you think the program could have gone and all those type of things. We can't lose any of you guys, though, man. We can't. You guys are Fresno State. You know what I mean? You guys are
I-
Fresno State. You know,
I appreciate you saying that. I will tell you from the bottom of my heart, when I put that on social media that I'm done.
yeah.
I'm happy to walk through a thought process of why I'm done. This is a culmination of 25 years of apathetic leadership, and it's not just the decision to pick somebody over Skip. It's the constant, the Valley Children's deal, the Save Mart deal, the Measure E flub that this program has gone through. They did it all wrong. The public doesn't trust Fresno State with money. That's what that came down to with the Measure E bill, or the prop or whatever. That was basically a slap in the face to leadership of the president of the university, saying, we don't trust you with however many billions of dollars or whatever it was. It was a lot of money. So there should be somebody in the room to say, hey, hold on, like, instead of just trying to cover everybody's ineptness, why don't we start holding people to a higher accountability thread, just like you and I do in business anywhere? If you're not cutting it, you gotta go, man. I'm sorry, you're good people, but there's a performance review and you're not there. I'll give you a personal story. I counted it up today when I was talking to somebody earlier. I'm over 30 businesses that I've hand walked or called into the Bulldog Foundation, and they haven't followed up. Like, let that sink in. Like, these guys are looking to do scholarships, they're looking to be a part of NIL, they're looking to do other things within the program, and these businesses, over 30 businesses have not been followed up with. You think there's a problem? That's facts. That's and if anybody from the Fresno State athletic department wants to call me out on that, call me. Let's sit down and talk. And I'll tell you names, I'll tell you when it happened, and I'll tell you the businesses that it was. I mean, there's an inherent problem underlying within this program, and at some point, a group of I'm hoping he's an alumni or donors or whatever it is stands up and says, "Hey, there's a day of reckoning. We're tired of average leadership. Here's the bar that Coach Hill and Sweeney set. We want to get back to what that is. And if you don't want to do that, that's fine. There's other jobs outside of Fresno State that are welcoming you. We're not going to pay you anything, but you're going to be a part of the pride and tradition of what this place is. It ain't a Cadillac, but it's a really badass Chevrolet. That's a Coach Hill. That's a Coach Hillism.
Yeah. I wanted to add real quick, and Justin, we want to hear a little bit from you, because it's rare that we can hear a top fan, right, and a supporter to just voice out your opinion. Because when we voice out our opinions, we're looked at as, you don't know what you're talking about, or you think you all that, or whatever people may think. But I want to add this. It's so hard to take my kids to show them anything about my history at Bulldog Stadium. I can't take my son right now that's a baller that can possibly be playing as a Bulldog next year, right? He may not want to go to Fresno State because of what's been going on. There's guys that I know me and Marsh coach right now that are like All-Americans. There's Fresno City guys right now that should be walking right down the street into Bulldog Stadium. I mean, there's West Hills player. I mean, you can go on and on. Reed Lee. And I know Modesto, the new head coach did speak on he wanted to start bringing in JUCO guys. But what about the guys whose blood, sweat, and tears that actually are coaches? The whole valley is flooded full of ex-Bulldogs that are coaching high school and college and Pop Warner, because they don't have an opportunity to be a GA or whatever it may be. I personally applied. My mom is on the line watching right now. I personally applied to jobs at Fresno State 8 times. It got denied. I have degrees. So I decided to go the elementary route and go to the city schools route and do these different things. But how does that feel as you've been there and you've learned from these great people. I even applied to make a purpose as a custodian, just to make a and guess what? Didn't even get a chance. No, seriously, and didn't even get a chance to come in for an interview.
Wow.
Ain't that crazy? Wow. So these are the things that we're talking about as fans. We need y'all support too. You're the voices. You're the money that comes in. You're right. You're paying money to watch these games.
Right.
Those funds go into the football programs. What do you think from a fan point of view, right? Like that you guys can do to help out the cause of like raising money too? Before Bryan Welch get into the stats, because we do want to talk some more coaching stats. We want to talk about that coaching deal. I call it the carousel because I feel it's a big circus. But can you share that, briefly, and then we'll get into some stats.
Okay. So I think I think fans are pretty limited. You got to show up. Whether we win, lose, you got to show up. Donate to the Bulldog Bread. As much as you can. It's not you did this amount. It's not for us. It's for all of us. It's for the bigger picture. This NIL, and you guys have touched on it, and you guys will know way more than I will. But just this whole thing has changed. You know what I mean? Before all this, I'm thinking more about culture and environment. Now, culture has been set a long time, as you guys know, from coach to coach to coach to coach to coach on down the line. One thing that I actually messaged Classy when he came on was an idea that I had that I talked to a few of my friends. And I'm a lot like you, Mike. I'm cool with just being in the backdrop. I don't care to have my name on shit. I don't care. Yep. I care about Fresno State and Fresno State. That's it. But my idea that I pitched to Classy, and he said, okay, I'll get back with you in the off season. I love the idea. Let's do it. And he approved it. And we'll see where it goes. But my idea is I want to make Bulldog Stadium how Autzen is. And I don't want to give them credit for this shit. I don't. But when you're standing up on first down, second down, third down, giving it everything you got, that's how it needs to be. And when you look around and they're looking at you like you're an alien because you're standing up, giving it all you got, there's something wrong. There's something wrong. So the idea that I had was to get everybody who wanted to jump on. And I wanted to have my own section right by the student section. And just build. I know it's grassroots, it's ground level. I wanted to just build. And I want everybody on the same page. First down, second down, third down. We show this whole place what it should be. And it would just spread. Gradually, it would just spread. The students would get involved. And my idea was we would all wear green shirts. And I know we like to wear red. I want to be different. I want to stand out. Be like, you know what? I want to be a part of that. And I want to, call ourselves the Green V. That was what I pitched. And my idea is I'd love to see two sections of green where it's just a lot like the black hole for the Raiders. Let's get this how it should be. I'm you guys are passionate. I can hear it. Mike, I love it, brother. I love it. I mean, thank you. There's a lot of people like us, and there's kids coming up that are just like us too, so a dad spreads to the kids spread to their friends. This thing can go. We can be better in that stadium. And I've seen improvements too with the game day atmosphere. And I love Toomey. I've talked to Toomey. And you guys were saying that he's an outstanding human. Love that guy. Mm-hmm. It's tough. It's tough. We all want what's best. Financial is a big problem. We all know that, but that's kind of where I would go with your question. You know,
I would love to see the games like how they were.
Oh, come on.
Mike, remember 99 when we won the WAC championship?
Yep. That's
Every game,
crazy. TCU is crazy.
yes, you could not see empty. It was
They
red, it was red. Packed. That shit was packed. What's the
they were bringing in stands and like temporarily welding them to the back of the stands, like completely illegal,
That's crazy.
just to get people in that stadium, and then hanging big screen TVs on cranes over the top of 100 people below them. I mean, you go back and think about how stupid that was.
That was dope.
What's our capacity?
So have you guys noticed that? Like, I was at
Sorry, Dante. My bad.
I was at the Hawaii game, and there was a ton of empty seats. I was sitting in the red section, right? But they said it was sold out, and I'm looking like this is not sold out. Like there's
got to get rid of those red seats, man.
600-700 seats. Like, what the hell is going on?
Man,
sorry, Dante. I cut you off, man.
Yeah, Dante got cut off.
I was saying, what's the capacity? What, 44,000?
41,031.
So I'm just saying, I'm about to be 46. We can't end together. It needs to be at least 65.
Yeah.
By now, and I mean it. I don't know. I held back in some of the social back and forth with the fans because I didn't want to say anything that I would regret. But it bothers me so much to a guy that I went to war with for 4 years, and a guy that like I said is just look at his lineage from his father to his brother Kelly to him. Like, there's no way you questioning him being qualified or him being the person that could get it going. And it's and I hate the narrative. Oh, you guys are this, whatever. He sucks and you're mad because it's your buddy. Nah, dog, it's more than a buddy.
I know who his character is. And if I was down on my luck and I needed a favor, I could call Dante and be like, Dante, I haven't talked to you in 5 years. I don't know what else to do. I need help. And I know he would call me back. Same thing with Skip. I was a center. So I was a center. And who plays right in front of a center?
Linebacker.
Middle linebacker. The slipperiest mother, you know what, ever. I don't know how that guy got past me half the time. He was just better than me. But when there's a smile of Skip, and then there's game time. And if you understand, he can do all the press conferences and he can smile and the big cheese, big smile, whatever. But when he flips that switch, and it's game time, you know what I'm talking about. Those kids respond to that. And I don't think a lot of coaches have. I don't know this new guy, but there's not a lot of coaches in coaching today that understand that flip. Once you flip that switch, it's game time. Let's go, and let's go do business.
Well, let's hear. Oh, go. I was going to say. Go ahead, Rigo.
I want to say this. In 2020, I lost my oldest son, my second child born.
Yeah.
One of the first calls I got from anybody when I let it known was Skip.
Not surprised.
Like, legitimately, like, bro, like, what do you need? And I'm here. And I was in Fresno at the time. And that's when he was in Central Michigan. He went with Mac out to Central Michigan. And he's like, I'm going to be back. We're going to get together. And we damn sure got together. And we shared tears. And
true.
I didn't expect that from him. I mean, he's one of my best friends. But still, I didn't expect that from him. And yet he was right there. And to your point, you're 100% right, Mike, when it comes to, like, flipping that switch. Man, like, look at last year. If we're going to be real, at the middle to the end of last year, the team was playing stale. And when they went and played in that New Mexico Bowl, those guys were playing for Skip. They weren't playing for Tedford. They weren't playing for themselves. They were playing for Skip, and that showed on the field. And that's something that fans, and I don't care if fans don't like me, I don't give two shits. Like, to me, that speaks volumes. The way this team played for Skip all year spoke volumes to the leader and the person that he is and the respect that he now has earned and commands from his team.
Yep.
I agree. Hey, Brian, go ahead, Brian. Let's hear some stats, because I know we've been waiting all night to hear comparisons and things of that nature. But go ahead and tell us a little bit about the comparison with all of the Fresno State coaches compared to what coaches coming in.
Well, of course. I mean, you look at it right now. This has been a very fun conversation. Pat Hill went 112-80. Kalen DeBoer went 12-18. Jeff Tedford in his 2 stints, 45-22. And Tim Skipper right now, 7-6 overall. He does still have that bowl game. And you know what? We just found out right now, Joe, just got a message that Bronco Mendenhall will be going to Utah State as the head coach. So if we rub the crystal ball, Tim Skipper might have the opportunity to coach in New Mexico. How crazy would that be if Tim Skipper cannot get the opportunity at Fresno State but finds the way to get the coaching job at the Land of Enchantment in Albuquerque? It'd be mind-blowing. Seriously.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Or, hey, keep an eye on Tulane for him as well.
That's
Because
right.
their coach looks like their coach is about to dip out, and he's from Louisiana. He's from New
He's
Orleans.
from Louisiana. Yeah, he
And
is.
he's got a lot of ties
Mhm.
down there. That would make a
Mhm.
lot of sense. And I mean, at some point, someone's going to have to take the chance. Not even take a chance. Somewhere he's got to get hired.
Yeah.
And wherever he's going to be, it's going to be successful.
Yeah. I really do think, man, if he does not stay here, he will have an opportunity to be a head coach somewhere else.
Absolutely.
Huh?
If you're him with Ince, I'll ask Dante. I know you coach as well. Mike, I know you played. I'll ask the whole panel. If you're Skip, and Ince asked you to stay on as associate head coach, linebackers coach, you gonna stay?
Nope.
No.
The loyalty it's a loyalty. It will be a loyalty thing for me.
Agreed.
You cut the thread. Thread.
This is the 6th time. Yeah, go ahead, Justin.
So I agree with I forget who mentioned it earlier. It kind of looks like this new guy is looking at us as a stepping stone. You know, the whole reason he even appears to have gone to SC was to get, you know, the NIL and all this other stuff to kind of set him up for this. How do you guys? Well, I mean, you guys had just mentioned it, but I personally, and I don't know how Skip would feel. I don't know how you guys would feel, but I personally would love to have Skip on the staff as the next guy, so that when this guy, you know, if he moves on, our stability is not fractured.
I don't know. The reason why I say no, because they jerked him. So
Exactly.
who's to say if and when the new coach does leave, then okay. And then it's kind of like a sympathy thing. Like, okay, all right, here.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't want to do it. I'm gonna go do my Dougie somewhere else, and I'm gonna show you. You gonna look. You gonna have it on your face, because I'm gonna be successful where I go.
And,
Yeah,
and Justin, to your point with that, bro, that's what was happening right now. If Tedford was done, it was supposed to go to Skip, and they passed him over. So how many times are you going to be slapped in the face by the school that you love, that you went to, a place that you 6 different times have applied for as the head coach, have been interviewed, and you've been passed over? At some point,
It's time. Yeah.
enough is enough.
Right.
Well,
And
he's a grown ass man. At some point, your pride
Right.
plays something. I mean, you gotta come on, bro. 6 times. I mean, I'll be honest, guys. I'd probably be out at 3.
Yeah,
Well,
and that's what I was getting to, Mike. I'm just saying, again, I know Marsh can speak on it. And the reason why I came back to Fresno after I retired in the NFL is to coach at Fresno State. I left San Diego. I retired. Joe can tell you. I retired, and I said, okay, I'm going to go coach at West Hills College my first year. That's where I went. I completed that. We won a bowl game. We went undefeated. I said, okay, now I got to get to Coach C over at Fresno, because I know if I get to Coach C, I'll be able to use his name, and he'll be able to teach me, you know, and Coach Scheid over there, they'll be able to train me. And now I'm going to coach 5 years over there, and now let me apply for Fresno State. I did exactly that for my mentor, Pat Hill, who told me to do that. I came in DeRuyter. I personally, and Coach Skip can tell you himself, I sat in DeRuyter office, and they were going to hire me to be an office analyst. I sat in there, and I was going to sign a paper. I don't know what it was, like an addendum, not a contract, but it was just stating that they were going to hire me. As I was supposed to be hired, there was a gentleman that had ties to him that they hired the same day that I walked in the office when DeRuyter was there. After that, I said I was really discouraged. This is just like the other Bulldogs that come through, right? I was discouraged. So I said, okay, I don't even know what to do with my life. So then I started volunteering at elementary school, and then I start teaching, right? So now I want to be not a head football coach. I want to coach the college rankings, but I can't go to my alma mater because I know they're not going to hire me. So then I start coaching high school football, and then I find a love for high school football. And then now I find out you can't be a head coach without a teacher credential. So now I'm stuck in the system, and now I'm loving the kids so much, I don't want to coach, be a Bulldog. So these are the things that I guess it's a blessing and a curse for a lot of us, because a lot of us do move back to Fresno and try to come back and give back, and then we just stay because we have a love for what we do. But man, there is no way Fresno State should be a mediocre program right now. With all the guys that came out of Fresno State, we should be top of the line. We should have the best uniforms. We should have a stadium by now because of all of the people who came through as donors who've been very instrumental to the Valley. I mean, I don't know what the problem is. And I think having these type of shows, getting more people to follow us, I think we can make a movement. We can raise money, Mike Stovall. We can, bring the right people on. I put on a post that I need all the Bulldogs to respond. And I think they felt like if we respond, we're not going to be able to get in the game. Screw that, man. If they don't let you come in those games, if they don't let you walk into those games and walk through those halls, there's something wrong. And that's what we need to get to. We need to get people understanding the people who built what we have now. We built that. Pat Hill built that. Sweeney built that. All the great players before then built that. And all of the farmers that's out there putting in that work that maybe died and passed on, and now your kids don't really know what to do with it, because that's been lost as well. So there's work that we have to do. But I wanted to throw that out there, that people's journey, just because you may be a fan or you may not know people's journeys, but a lot of people have been stuck in the Valley because they had, a lot of ex-athletes, because they wanted to be at Fresno State and they deny them or they don't let them in, or they have the alumni meetings. And now, all respect to my teammates, but you may have somebody who was a punter and now they in there making all the decisions. You're like, bro, like you didn't even play, so these are the things. No, seriously, I'm talking the truth because who's going to tell me to shut up? Who's going to tell me to be quiet? What they going to say? Dwayne, you suck? No, these are the things that need to be brought up because it's not fair to what's going on in the Bulldog land right now. I feel that the president needs to open up a discussion, invite certain players and the players who balled out. But if you go to SC, I bet you if you was a third stringer, you played at SC, if you was a third stringer and you didn't play, I bet you they ain't gonna give you the gold treatment. I know because Reggie Bush is my little homie. I know. Yep. They ain't gonna give you that gold treatment if you was a dude who didn't have a scholarship and you gonna walk in and stand on the field and they're not giving you that treatment. But Fresno State feels that everybody should be equal on certain, which they should, but there's certain, just like anything else, there's certain dudes, there's certain guys that like Bernard Barron, he should have his name. Come on, dude. Yeah. Why he ain't hanging up there?
Logan Mankins.
Yep. Logan Mankins. Why he ain't, and they call it Logan Mankins Field. I can go on and on. Why he ain't hanging up there?
Can I ask a question and point something out real quick? So, after when DeRuyter took over, he did a horrible job recruiting the Valley. Like he really went down to Texas and down south. He did not care about the West Coast at all. And it took Teffer coming back to right the ship.
Right.
I'm going to tell you my fear. My fear is Entz is going to, he may say that he's going to recruit the Valley, go JC, West Coast. Proof will be in the pudding. But look at what happened. It took Coach Teffer to come back to recruit the Valley. Mike, I know you got a son, right, that that's recruitable. I know
6'5", 6'5", bro. It's Fresno City, 300 pounds.
Debo, you got your son. That's a running back. That's like these guys should look at Michigan. You know, look at what's his name? He plays for the Lions now. His dad was an offensive lineman there. He got the offer right freshman year in high school. That's legacy.
Come on now.
I'm curious as to whether or not that's going to happen, because if it doesn't, it'll be a 2 or 3 year deal for Ince, and they're going to have to restart the process over again and bring somebody in that understands the culture, understands the Valley, and that again. And I see this guy, Daniel Everett says we're talking about Skip the Man, but very little about 6 and 6. Now we talked about 6 and 6.
Right.
We may have been late to the party with that. But the reality is, like, you're gonna now if Ince doesn't recruit the Valley, doesn't recruit Mike's kid, doesn't go to Dante for guys, doesn't recruit Dwayne's son, now it becomes an issue where now you gotta start all over again. And what did that do? It took Coach Tepper to come in and restart the cycle to make it happen. And yes, DeRuiter did a great job of not DeRuiter, excuse me, my man that's down in Alabama now.
DeBoer
did a great job of carrying on that legacy because he understood it, because he was here long enough to understand it. I think that my fear is that's going to be a problem for Fresno State going forward.
Joe,
the one thing that I'll say is he did touch on that in the press conference today about how he has a different plan of attack as far as the local high school coaches coming into our program. I don't know. He didn't really go into detail with it, but something along the lines of getting some sort of dinner or something going on with all the other high school coaches around the Valley.
That's cool.
That sounds good. I like that.
I mean, what you saying? My bad, D.
No. You know, this when we have these conversations, we have great shows. I promise you. But this one is just so touchy because, like, man, like Justin, you understand? You've been around. All right, my son from San Diego went to Morris High School, had 7 touchdowns in one game against one of the #1 defenses. Didn't get not one scholarship offer from Fresno State, but other places. Let me guess. He was 6 foot, 208 pounds, 10 pounds in high school. Has to go to Western Colorado to Jazz Bang because that was the connection. So he went to Jazz Bang, got a scholarship, balled out, set out, redshirted. But the point I'm making is my son and myself and my uncle went to the Fresno State recruitment camp. My son raced everybody at the end. You know, they have the fastest players. He ended up being the fastest. And we're thinking he's about to get an offer because Dwayne Wright son, running back legacy son, nothing. We waited. I talked to the coach, like, hey, bro, like, what's up? Like, is he not good? Dogging people out. You know, I got all the film. I'm sharing it on Facebook. And they signed another local running back that's 5'6", 120 pounds. I don't know. Maybe because I don't come around. But what I'm saying is I'm making a point. I think there's certain people who was older generations who had a lot of control too, you know, and I can speak freely on that. And I think it should have been a more widespread of people that's around, because when I show up and every year there's 1982, 83, 84, class of 76, class of 69, I respect that. But what about the late classes? Like, when we show up, it's like we're all just standing there and we talking to each other, but like they're going to acknowledge something else. Like that's what's missing. There's a missing piece from, again, DeRuiter until Tefford. There's something that's missing in between that space there. And I think that the alumni needs to come together, like you were saying, Stovall. And Justin, you need to bring those fans, and we need to just stand in front of Bulldog Stadium and maybe just do like an old school, you know what I'm saying, like rally or something, and say we want the old school with the new school, but you got to respect it, you know, what we're saying. It's all about respect of what we're trying to bring to the table. That's all it is. I care less. Just respect where we've been and just listen to us. Don't make a decision.
I think what you're saying, and I love it, right, Deke? Because Tedford had to come back, and I guess what fans don't understand, like Kevin Coyle was my DC. He came back. Jeffro Franklin was our D-line coach my 4 years there. He came back. J.D. Williams was my position coach. He was actually a GA year, gave him corners. John Baxter. So it's always been since I left in between, got the gap, but there's always been that connection that could bridge the alumni with the current coaching staff that tied to keep things like this. Now it's kind of like, well, if he comes in, does he bring in a whole new staff who don't know the culture here?
I agree with that.
That does things, man.
That's worry.
I'm just saying. So nobody's saying knocking Coach Ince. We don't know him. Nobody. What you're saying is, we don't know. And I looked online and I'm seeing all these fans. Oh yeah, I'm ready to suit up for him. You don't know him. What are we talking about? Anybody can say anything about,
and you're not good enough.
I was thinking that.
Man, I just.
Let's be honest.
My whole thing, we going off. Everybody getting excited, and you're saying 6-6. I said it earlier in the show. My freshman year, first recruiting class, we went energy in 1997. He became an icon. Y'all get what I'm saying? So yeah. I guess what I said on social media is gonna reign true. If he goes 6-6 or he don't win 9 games, I want that same energy that they was giving Skip. Gotta have it.
Dante, let me ask you this. I want to ask you this, Mike and Dwayne. I want to ask you this too. Honest to God, this is keep it a buck. Right now, Fresno State, can they compete with Boise State or UNLV in next year in the Mountain West?
No.
Mike, Dwayne.
Yeah, if D Wright, if they offer my son and Mike's son a scholarship. I'm just joking. No, that's a joke. That's a joke, man.
The only thing that I'll say about that is college football has changed so much. I mean, look at Arizona State. We gave them a goose egg, and look at they're looking like they're going to go to the playoff. I mean, things can change so quickly. And I wish we didn't have it in our culture, but it seems like, we have the culture of playing up to our opponents and playing down to our opponents. And, I mean, it felt like Boise was in our head for a long while, but I think we've gotten over that hurdle. And I don't put it past any of our boys to step up in a 1-game scenario and compete. I don't know what the hell happened in Vegas this year. I don't.
They got bullied.
I have a theory. And
they got bullied. The UNLV is a bully, straight up. There's not a team that they're scared of. There's not a team. The culture that Barry Odom has set is different. And that's why I believe they're gonna beat Boise by more than a touchdown tomorrow. Like literally, and I'll share this too. After Skip beat Colorado State, he texted me. He said, "Go tell UNLV to go bring it home and beat the shit out of Boise." So,
hey, Joe, real quick, I'm reading this, Daniel. Lots of conversation about Skip the man. Awesome. Very little about 6-6, which is the reason he wasn't picked. You must not have been following the show because he was in the room. You can't blame. See, it's just like the quarterback get all the praise for the wins and gets all the shit for the losses, right? The same way the head coach gonna get. He was the substitute teacher, Daniel. Interim. He can't hire, can't fire. He not stepping on no toes. He was also coaching linebackers and as the head coach. And 6-6 and got to a bowl game. When he inherited a team 7 days before the season. What don't y'all understand about that?
That's a win.
That's right.
That's a win.
Real quick, Colorado was terrible, right? They was a big time program in the 90s. Okay, they fell off. Deion comes in, they go what? Was it 4-8?
I thought it was 5-7.
5-7, I think.
The first year, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody bashed. Now look where they at.
Right.
So if you you get him out of there, then you see what it's done. He got the opportunity. So stop saying they keep saying 6-6 like it's 2-10.
Well, like what was said earlier, he gonna have to go somewhere else to prove to them, and then they gonna try and bring him back. But I stick these two up in him and run.
Real talk.
No Vaseline.
We have man, Aaron Atwall, man. We thank you, man, because we have a lot of questions and stuff like that, but man, you're bringing a fire, man. So so somebody read I can't really see it. I got my bifocals on, man. Somebody read this.
It's
getting old.
I'm telling you.
You're gonna make me put mine on, Debo.
He said Ince literally said in his press conference he talked to 3 out of the last 4 head coaches at Fresno State about recruiting the Valley culture here. Guess which one he did not speak to?
Hold on. Nobody say nothing. I want Bryan to answer this. That's like the Joe Arrigo of our show right there. Hey, Bryan, I want you to add your analysis, man, because I know you got some. Come on, man, answer that question for us, man. After the question for him.
Well, he talked about it when he did his introductory press conference this morning in the Josephine Theater in Fresno. He talked to Pat Hill earlier this week, did talk with Jeff Tedford, and also talked with Kalen DeBoer. So he talked about with the 3 coaches, but also wouldn't you want to talk with Tim Skipper as well to see what's going on inside the program? Just saying, because the thing is, he did talk about, I would like to see practice if I'm allowed to, because hey, it's still Skipper's baby until the bowl game, whenever that is. That's the thing. So it's very awkward to see when Ent starts bringing in coaches. Is it going to be like what we see in what happened with Lincoln Riley and USC? When USC saw how to play one more game and Lincoln Riley's staff was moving into the offices.
Oh, he said he was talking about DeRuiter. He said he was talking about DeRuiter. Not Skip. He was talking about DeRuiter.
Well, I mean, the thing is, just look at it. Hopefully, it's a smooth transition. But hey, you know what? If Tim Skipper can get that job in New Mexico, that would be pretty interesting to see if the Bulldogs and the Lobos play against each other next season, and Tim Skipper beats the Bulldogs, or makes it a very interesting game. It will be very interesting to see what the athletic department will do, kind of like a hindsight 2020, so to speak.
Well, New Mexico's quarterback hit the portal, and he was first team All Mountain West this year.
That's
he
right.
hit the portal tonight, and I know one school in particular that's already interested. What I will say is, when it comes to Skip and I'm interested to see what options he has, because he could very easily end up at SC as a linebacker coach.
Mm-hmm.
He could end up at New Mexico State back with Tony Sanchez. He's going to have options. He's well respected, in the coaches community. And like I said, like in his text to me yesterday, yesterday, he said that he needed 24 hours to kind of let the, because he's hurt. I mean, and that's a natural feeling. So, I for me personally, like, look, Coach Entz, I don't know the man, like we've said, and he did a hell of a job at North Dakota State. I mean, those teams were really good, and he put them on a national level, playing for championships and whatnot. But at the same time, I guess it's a loyalty to me, and I'm a loyal person. I mean, Dwayne's known me over 20 years now. Mm-hmm. Like, I remember when Dwayne was coming out for the draft, we were going over the interview process. The teams were gonna stuff that they're gonna be asking Dwayne, and rode with Dwayne and I'll always ride with Debo to the wheels fall off. When he got done playing, the conversations, the private conversations we had about life is important. Dante and I run in the same circle with the same people. There's a big time respect between, and that's why I think, I know, like Dante, when you jumped in yesterday, I was happy that you jumped in that conversation, because I love you to death, brother. Like what you're doing, the same thing. But there's a loyalty factor. And Skip, and where was the loyalty back to Skip with this job? Like this the man that again, I when I came on earlier, blood, sweat, tears for the Bulldogs, from a teenager to an adult, and he got slapped in the face for the 6th time. Like, how would you feel? Like, I mean, I'm sorry, like, the first time would have been enough for me, straight up. D-Harv said the best, both fingers. I'm with you, bro. I'm with you.
Can I ask you guys a question?
Yeah.
Okay. So, do you guys think the chain of command got broke when we got away from Toomey?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Because I don't because it's kind of like the new GM in baseball wants their guy. You know what I mean? And so I feel like that's obviously playing a part in this too. But if that kind of caught me off guard. I don't know if it caught you guys off guard when we got rid of Toomey. The timing was weird on that one.
Well,
Go ahead, Mike.
I think honestly, I think that's the break. I'm not going to speak for Toomey, and please don't take me that way. But what I watched, when Toomey first started, the guy was jumping in pools for the water polo and doing all kinds of crazy, out of bounds, just getting people excited. And the guy, he's a D lineman. I can't hold that against him, I guess. But I mean, his personality was infectious, and I'm like, wow. I mean, you're like really getting people talking about water polo and basketball and volleyball and all the sports, not just football. I mean, kudos to you. Football's my thing, but I mean, that's where we started friendship. Was I reached out to him. I said, "Hey, doing what you're doing," and see a guy 4 or 5 years later, just basically get his leg under because of the internal politics of the Bulldog. The athletic corporation and all the backside of the politics, all the people that think they know everything better than everybody else, and then also the new president. That this is his first time being a president. He's going to listen to the people like a W.A. Stone that basically has all the power in the purse. She's got 5 or 6 different positions by now. That lady checked us in at the RDH when we were athletes in college, and she has been at the school for 25 years, literally waiting for other people to leave, and she pulled on more power. And a lot of people within that organization don't want to talk about it, but that's where I think we went off base. Is we severed Toomey's leg.
I was gonna say Toomey, like Mike, I developed a real good bond with Toomey, and the same things I'm speaking on tonight are the same things we will text each other, and I will have conversations with him. Especially, I hate bringing up the whole race thing, but how the African American when it comes to coaching, right? Like I felt a fan told me, "Oh, it's the race thing." I said, "No, it'd just be kind of cool to see an African American head coach, not because he's black. It just because it's a different face, probably with a different experience that relates to probably 90% of the players that you recruit. That's it." You know what I mean? And he wanted to take it further, but being a player and us being athletes, we have to just stop there because that's what it's about. You have to relate to the people who's leading you. Like you have to, right? I'll follow anybody. I'll follow Pat. And I made a point. I said, Pat Hill's like my father. Literally, he's like my second father. I quit on him 2 or 3 times. He would not let me leave Fresno. I was trying to go back to Washington State. He will not let me leave Fresno. He set me down on his couch, the old room he had, the old office. And then when he got upgraded to upstairs, when he got upgraded to upstairs, he'll set me down and he'll talk to me like a man. And he was the one who said, always speak your mind, but make sure that it's something that you think about first before you speak. So everything that we speak about, we thought about it and we've been through it. So I want everybody who's watching, all 500 of y'all, whoever you are, listen, we are Bulldogs that's telling the truth. If you would have had this panel before you had the panel, you would have understood that people wanted a change and keep it the same with somebody who knows the ropes. All right. Much respect to Coach Inks. I'm not knocking you because I did research on you and I know you're going to be a phenomenal coach. I'm not knocking you. We're not knocking you because that's your profession. And some of us are coaches and we can't knock you. You know, I look forward to seeing you do what you do. We're just, we're just skip guys, right? Like we either grew up with them, so you can understand. But I want to say at least invite us into your office, invite us to the practices, invite us to those, recruiting panels or whatever you do on the weekends like we used to do, right? Invite us so we can feel welcome. And now we can make your job easier. And now the fans will be able to see us like, wow, all these players are coming back. You know what I mean? You're very open. Like Joe was saying, all of us have been on panels to do something in the profession.
Yep.
So when I'm trying to get a head coaching job, I'm gonna say everything I need to say so you can hire me. And then once I'm in, I'm gonna do everything in my power to bring my guys in, no matter who was here before me, and we're gonna roll with this thing. It's just the business of it. So we got to be careful on what words that's said, and we want to see action. I want to see action that first month of that first week. That first month, we want to see some action, man. Invite us over. This is the official invite right here. We're saying we want to be around, as much as possible to help the cause. Man, look, I was pissed off too.
I got to get out of here, but I want to ask a question before I get out. And it's kind of a statement, but I feel like if Coach Stafford would have stepped down a year ago, there'd be no question Skip would have been named the permanent head coach. Would you guys agree with that?
100.
Yeah.
Yes. Pretty much.
Well, and I think there was also a bond between Toomey and Skip too, so that wouldn't have been an issue.
True.
Right.
So
true, guys. Hey,
right.
I love you guys. I got to get up out of here. I got stuff I got to do. Dwayne, hit me up. Dante, pleasure to see you, brother. Mike, pleasure to meet everybody else.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, Joe.
Yes, sir. We got 3 minutes left on the show. This was the extra hour exclusive, so we got 3 minutes. No, seriously, we knew it was going to go further. Again, to all our fans out there, to all our supporters, make sure you subscribe because every first of the month we will always cover Bulldog football to the extent. And that's just what we do. We cover JUCO, we cover high school, but we're mainly a JUCO show because we want people to understand that JUCO ball is where it's at. It's the new portal. All right. So if you are out there, please subscribe to our show. I'm sure D Harv didn't say much today because he way out in Florida. We like picking on D Harv, Mike. Dante already know Justin. We pick on D Harv, man. He a Florida guy. So we like to just here we go. Now you're gonna play some West Coast music.
Oh no.
All right.
I'm giving y'all flavor tonight.
Hey, but look, D Harv, how you gonna be from Florida, play West Coast music, and have a cowboy jacket on? That don't even make, dog.
I've been a cowboy since I was about 7 years old. So
yes.
So that's what it is.
I hear you, man. I hear you.
Hey,
Brian.
Hey D, one thing I want to say is we are Bulldog born, Bulldog bred, and the thing we want the most is a high caliber football program. So this is not I don't want fans to keep this negativity going. They hired who they hired. It is what it is. We want success.
Yes.
This was like just a session to get it out there. There's a lot of things that go on behind the scenes that are unbeknownst to the public.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of times fans are emotional and they speak from a sense of, I keep seeing the 6 and 6. The guys who know. That's not 2 and 10. It's very far from 2 and 10.
Very far. Yes.
So in any event, I want to be on the sidelines again every time I come to Fresno. I went to 2 or 3 games this year. I'm always down there for the alumni stuff. I'm very present coming down there, and we want to see what he gonna do. Hopefully,
That's right.
Just know the bar is really high. The bar doesn't go any lower just because some guy walks in and we don't know.
That's right.
Expectation is still high. So if you take the bricks and I'm going to let you guys go to the first couple meetings. It's going to take me a little bit of time, just because I put my heart and soul into this thing, and I need to focus on my son and where he's going to go, and you know, much respect, you know, all around, you know, personally, but I appreciate the opportunity, right, just to jump on. And I mean, there's a lot of people saying a lot of things, but just understand that at the end of the day, we bled, sweat, tears, and we bought into this program.
Yes.
We believe in what this thing could potentially become. And we saw Coach Hill go through what he went through, and we've ridden the wave up and down. Don't take it personally. If you want to show up and be season ticket holders, that's awesome. If you want to take it to the next level and get in, you know, come on, join the quarterback club. Call Dante, call myself. Take me to breakfast. Let's talk. You want to understand the full. I'll unload the whole thing from 1997 all the way down if you want. But that's history. So the bar is still high, and I guess that's my point. Is the bar doesn't go any lower just because some guy that walks in we don't know. You're still going to have that expectation from the former athletes, former student athletes, because we got our degrees here. We went to here. We're invested in this place, and we want to see this place at a high level. So that's all I had.
Man, thank you, Mike. I know Bryan is going to take us out, but before that, we thank all of you, Justin. We appreciate you, brother. We will invite you back. Matter of fact, hopefully when we have our Bulldog shows, man, we're going to be doing it the first of the month, man, every month. So we'll like to see Stovall, Marsh, you know, you guys are invited anytime. We'll talk on issues and hot topics, but you know, I just want to say to all of the fans who hearing us out tonight, we're not disrespecting the coach. We respect him in the fact that he's coming into a whole new environment. You know, we just have to speak our piece, right? Because that was our guy. But, you know, like Dante said, we'll work hard to be at the games. You know, you call us for meetings, we'll be there. And we're still Bulldogs. It's just you have a right to share, you know, your feelings. But at the end of the day, you know, the bar is high. The bar is high, and we're going to be able to come together, raise that money, like Stovall was saying, to get the top players and maybe to pay some of these coaches. And that's only going to be from just us coming together, man. That's it. That's all it's going to be. That's all it's going to be about. We have to come together. We have to agree to disagree. And now, you know, we disagree. Now we back to the table agreeing and bringing this Bulldog thing together. So we appreciate y'all. Tune in, subscribe, please, and we'll see you guys. Bryan Welch, take us out.
For Dwayne Wright, D. Harv, I'm Bryan Welch. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. We'll see you next week. Thank you so much. Have a good night.
Peace out, fellas.